Hey, good morning. Welcome, America. Good morning, America. From Chattanooga, Tennessee. As we wake up this morning, we remember Lindsey Graham, who passed away, at least according to what we've been able to ascertain. And I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. We're going to be talking about that, about whether he was poisoned, about whether he was killed by the Mossad, so on and so forth. I think we have a man who had a history of heart disease and had a heart attack. And you have to commend the man for doing everything he could to save America, to save American interests. He may have spent too much time on an airplane going back and forth between the Middle East and America, and that may have made worse heart conditions. I think this is a great story of one, and we're waiting for the toxicology report to come back on the autopsy, but early indications are that it was a heart attack. I know my friends that are following the conspiracy theorists are saying, oh, he just came back from the Middle East. He was killed. He was poisoned. Brings me to the point I really want to talk about this morning. In the old days, when you wanted to spread propaganda, you dropped it in leaflets from an airplane over enemy territory, and they read the pamphlets and they just kind of laugh. Tokyo Rose would get on the radio, and you knew it was Tokyo Rose talking, right? You knew it was the airplanes coming or the pamphlets coming from the airplane. You knew it was the enemy speaking. But today, with artificial intelligence, you can make anybody say anything with video, and it looks surprisingly real. There's a guy that does, Brian Hall Y'all, does a weather forecast. A friend told me that he eats fruit during his weather forecast so that you know it's a real guy giving you the weather forecast. It's not some AI generated thing. My point is this. We are living in an era where, because of the proliferation, all these people out there, including myself with a podcast and a smartphone, you can have a network, you can have followings, you can have whatever. What promotes their show is clicks. So the more clicks you can get, and we look at it too, we look at how many people are watching. But what promotes the show and where they gain money is they get more clicks. So the more outlandish your comments, the more conspiracy theory you go, the more clicks you get, because people are kind of looking for a conspiracy theory. Now, I'm sure there's other things. There's things going on behind the walls of behind closed doors, that we can't see, that really aren't in our best interests. It's a given. I understand that. But I also want you to remember that every conspiracy theorist that you hear out there may be just that, a conspiracy theory. All right? Erica Kirk killed her husband. That's one of the conspiracy theorists out there. Israel killed Charlie Kirk because he wouldn't bow down to them and take the money from Israel and promote Israel. Folks, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Let's point to what we know. Okay, Lindsey Graham died. Lindsey Graham, I believe, was a good, godly man that really cared about America and the best interests of his country. So when you get on the video and when you smile and you say good riddance to Lindsey Graham and, glad he died, hope more of those conservative Americans, those MAGA Americans die, that's beyond the pale. We need to respect the man. You may not have agreed with him, but we need to respect him. We need to honor what he did. The guy, at the end of the day, I think you're going to find out he gave his life for America. Maybe he didn't know, and with heart disease like that, heart disease is called the silent killer. High blood pressure is the silent killer. He may not have known the delicate condition medically that he was in. He was putting his life in jeopardy by doing that, by doing all these plane trips. And I've never met Lindsey Graham, but I've heard a lot of people talk about him. I think that even if he knew there was a risk that he would die, he would do it. I think he was that kind of man. So we need to honor his memory. We need to honor his family. You may not have agreed with everything he did, but I think he was a good man. And my prayer is that we have Men and women of character, not who are characters, serve America and make laws for us and tell us what's going on. You have people like Ro Khanna go and want to get a Palestinian tour of what's really going on in the West Bank. We can't really trust Israel. So he gets stopped by some people he claims are Israeli police officers and says that Israel was trying to detain a U.S. representative. And there are people trying to debunk that. So what we're going to see is we're going to see people try to disparage Israel, that you can't trust Israel, they can't trust Netanyahu, that Israel is in control of American government, in control of Donald Trump, that what is the new one out there? Well, whatever. There's a lot of them out there. Pick your poison. Realize there's a lot of people putting a lot of stuff out there on the internet. Realize that maybe some of our enemies are trying to put this information out there to fracture America, to divide America. Remember what I said. Propaganda is not today being delivered by leaflets from an airplane or Tokyo Rose on the radio. It's just sneaking in through the internet. Now, some of these allegations they may raise might prove to be true, but I think a lot of them aren't. So we point to what we know. Lindsey Graham, I believe, was a good man. In his heart, he was trying to do the best for America. We need to honor his memory. We need to elect people to office who care about America, who we can trust. And then maybe at some point we might even say, well, he's got to have to eat fruit when he's talking to me, so I know it's actually his image. I don't think we're there yet. But in this era of AI, artificial intelligence, and we can kind of pick the AI video out there, we just need to be kind of careful which videos we repost and which topic, argument, discussion, thread kind of sucks us in. Because at the end of the day, not everything on the internet is true. Oh, I saw it on the internet. Really? Who posted it? What did it say? Here's what I do. So I find something posted on the internet. For example, which was it the other day? I think it was the death of Lindsey Graham. And so I go to other reputable sources and say, are we seeing the same story being posted? Are we seeing the story in other than just one source? You need to get one source nailed down on this story. And you could say, well, they've done investigative journalism and they've dug into it. They have the scoop. They're the only ones that know about it. Well, maybe. But just everything you read on the internet, everything you see on the internet isn't true. So I think we need to take a pause. We need to know that we believe in America. God bless America. We believe in freedom. We believe in patriotism, at least I hope we do. Because we're also at an era where the enemy is in the gate. Enemy is in the camp. We are seeing socialists and communists elected to government because people don't like Donald Trump, mainly, is what the problem is. Another concern I have is we need to make sure that our next generation is ready to take over from the current serving generation. Now, we have a lot of politicians who are up there in years. Lindsey Graham was one of them. We need to make sure that we are developing a new generation of leaders in the local, state, federal government that can take over the torch, people we trust. I'll use the name Lindsey Graham. People that really have America's best interests at heart. And we need to, what's the word I want? Cultivate. We need to bring up these leaders. We need to mentor these leaders, is the word I'm looking for, to carry forward this thing called America. What do we want America to be in the next 10, 20, 50? What do we want? Now, I'm not going to be here in another 50 years, probably. I'm 66 years old. So when America celebrates its 300th anniversary, Happy birthday, America, 300 years old. What is this country going to look like? Good question. What kind of country do we want to leave for our generation, our next posterity? I wear this cowboy hat a lot. You know the story behind the cowboy hat. Rick Steber running for it was a county commission seat in Oregon. Was it Crook County? And Oregon wouldn't let him take a picture with his cowboy hat on. So we started this Cowboy Up campaign to say, America, we need to cowboy up. We need to embrace the values of the Old West, where a man's word was his bond. You could trust people. Wouldn't it be nice if we could get back to the time in America where we can trust people again? Wouldn't it be good to get back to America at a time we honor the flag, we honor law enforcement, we honor the military. If we have people in there that shouldn't be serving there, we'll take them out. But at the end of the day, we need to have those two professions be professions of respect. It's hard work. It's hard work serving in the military. It's hard work sitting in that red-hot tank, sweat just pouring off your body, fighting for America's interests. It's hard work going to call after call, from domestic dispute to whatever, and people throwing urine at you and so on and so forth. And you're just trying to keep a lid on the situation that is America. And then everybody's calling you the enemy. All cops are bastards and that kind of thing. We got to change that. We have to make it a profession, or continue to have it as a profession of honor and service, which is what I believe it is, the military and law enforcement. ICE is out there enforcing the nation's immigration laws. This thing about illegal immigration, we've kicked the can down the road so long that there are some that believe if you're boots on the ground in America, you're by de facto an American citizen. You've been here working, and even though you're here illegally, you're an American. They consider you an American, and you're an American citizen. You're part of the community of Minnesota or whatever state. When we drill down to it, you're not here legally. And federal law says you can be deported. So are we getting to the point in America where we can just kind of pick and choose which laws we want? That's a slippery slope. Because which laws do you support? Which laws do you defend? And which laws I don't like that law. I don't think I'll support that law. Today it's immigration, whether they're here legally or not. Tomorrow it's what? What laws are we going to not enforce? We need to be at the point in America where the laws on the books, we enforce it. If we don't like the law, we change it. That's what representative democracy is all about. We have a choice, and we have the ability to change those laws. If we don't like the laws on the book, change the laws. But if the laws are on the book, we enforce them. We need to honor the flag. I believe America is a Christian nation, or should be, or was started that way. We need to get back to our roots. We need to cowboy up America. Not everything you hear on the internet is true. Remember that. There are nation states, there are hostile actors that hate Donald Trump so much. They would like to see America fail, because to them, as long as they get Donald Trump out of office, they'll rebuild America. But they believe that the Trump conservatism is going to be the ruination of America, and they want to redefine America constitutional liberties as they see them, irregardless of the fact that Donald Trump was put into office by a majority of the American voters. They don't like that. And justice and the law and the Constitution is how they see it. They don't want to follow the rulings of the Supreme Court. Now, I don't agree with all the rulings of the Supreme Court. I don't agree with the ruling on birthright citizenship. I believe it will open the door to abuse of that, and we will see birthright tourism explode. Here's an example you've heard. A Chinese mother comes to America, has her baby born on American soil, get the rubber stamp, get the American passport, get the birth certificate, take this child back to China, spend the next 20 years teaching this young person how to hate America, and then send them back into America with their American birth certificate. And you can't kick them out because they're an American citizen, but they are here to do us harm. That's the problem. That's one of the problems with birthright citizenship. Another problem is people have passed a test, taken an oath that they will follow the Constitution and obey the laws of the United States. If you have birthright citizenship, you just have a baby that's been born here that's been a rubber-stamped citizen and may not take that same oath of office. So, oath of citizenship. Is it fair to the people that have studied, paid the fees, and taken the oath to be an American citizen, And to extrapolate, take that point a step further. What about those people who are here as American citizens that just hate Donald Trump? They just don't like the price of gas at the gas station, and anything is better than Trump, anything is better than this, let's just burn it down and start over. The question that they aren't answering is, if you burn it down and start over, what are we starting over with? Which framework of governance are we going to use? The Communist Manifesto? Oh, we'll just take from the rich and give to the poor. What they fail to realize is somebody is going to be in control. Somebody's going to be in power. You don't like the fact that the oligarchs are in power, the people with money. So do you want to take those people out of power and give all the control to the government? All the control. Remember this, the government strong enough to give you everything you need is big enough to take everything you have. The Founding Fathers knew this, and that's why they created this balance of power, this co-equal branches of government, checks and balances, because they knew men's hearts. And they were trying to give us a form of government that had checks and balances to guarantee the freedoms of the American people. Communist Manifesto, socialism, don't do that. Everything is controlled by the government. What if that government is corrupt? What if your socialist heroes like Mindami get voted out of office and a crook gets appointed into office and he has total control of the government? You've lost control. You've given it to the government in your mad dash to become socialist because you care about the people. Well, you need to understand and talk to anybody who's lived in Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, China, Russia. Are the people in control? Are they really in control? I don't think you're going to find anybody who's come there that says, America, you want to go socialism. Every single one of them is going to say, run. Run as fast and as far as you can. We came to America to escape that. Why are you as American citizens even considering voting this in? It's crazy. There's a lot of crazy out there. Editorial comment here, I think the Democrat Party has become the party of crazy. I agree with John Kennedy, senator from Louisiana. It seems like the Republican Party has become the party of American constitutionalism, and the Democrat Party has become the party of crazy communism, CC, the CC Party, crazy communists. It's how I see it. It's how I read it. I don't think they're using common sense. And I don't think they've learned from the history of those countries that have gone down that road. And I think we need to. I really do. Pause, read, research, take a deep breath, and realize that everything you hear on the internet is not what it seems. Cowboy up, America. I'm Dave Adams, Street Level America. That's what I think.